Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kiah Jane. Today I'm drinking on some Earl Grey tea with some French vanilla creamer. And today I'm gonna sit here with y'all quickly to talk about a big problem, okay? A very big problem, and that is smoking. So, I'm just gonna pull out my notes. I smoked for a long time, so a little backstory for my smoking experience. I was smoking since I was 13, probably at least half a pack a day at that point. And then I started to smoke at least a pack a day, probably more. There have been times when I finished probably about 3 packs in a morning, so like not something to be proud about. But yeah, I was smoking since I was 13 up till this year. So I quit smoking in December, I want to say, and I've just kind of compiled a list of all of the things that like helped me quit smoking, just some of my favorite tips. I'm not trying to tell you how to quit smoking. I'm trying to tell you how I quit smoking and like my experience. So, number one, the first thing quitting smoking is forget everything that you've ever heard about quitting smoking, that it's the hardest thing ever. I've said that myself before, because when you're in the midst of quitting smoking and just with everything that everybody tells you about quitting smoking, everybody says it's the most impossible thing and that it's so hard and that it's so difficult and all of this shit. But that's bullshit, okay, guys? It's bullshit. Forget all of those things, all those misconceptions in your head that you've heard about quitting smoking. Because if you lose those misconceptions, then it'll be a lot easier to be able to quit smoking. Because whether you think that you can or whether you think that you can't, you're right. So just keep that in mind. Then number two, this book kind of goes a little bit more into detail about that, but it's the Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking. So I'm just going to grab a thumbnail quick, guys. Don't mind me. Okay. Basically, stop smoking now. This book actually works. It seems gimmicky, but it's not. Let me just read you some of the things in here just so you get a better idea. So, okay. To quit successfully, you need to focus on what the cigarette is doing for you. Once you understand you're not making a sacrifice, you're well on your way to freedom. Okay, so these are just 2 simple facts that will tell you how to quit. So the only pleasure or crutch smokers receive when they light up is the perceived feeling of relief of the empty, insecure feeling of the body. Withdrawing from nicotine, which non-smokers don't suffer from anyway. So basically, if you don't smoke, you're never going to suffer from nicotine, like withdrawal. But if you do smoke, you're suffering from nicotine withdrawal every time you put out that cigarette. Instantly, that comes back, and that's why you keep going back to cigarettes. Each cigarette, far from relieving the empty feeling, actually causes it. So the perception of a pleasure or crutch is an illusion. It's like putting on tight shoes to get the pleasure of removing them. You don't choose to smoke. If you were in control of your smoking, you wouldn't be reading this book or watching this video. If you could simply choose whether to smoke or not, you would choose to be a non-smoker. So basically, it's telling you, you're in a trap, you're not controlling it, the cigarette controls you. And it's not the type of book where you read it and they tell you, okay, stop smoking right now, last cigarette, you go. It actually, throughout the book, encourages you to continue smoking until he tells you to stop. So, continue smoking as much as you normally would or whatever, and it continues to urge you to do that because he doesn't want to make it feel like you're taking something away from you, because you're not. Quitting smoking is the best thing. So good for you. My lungs feel so much better because of it. But anyways, this book is really, really good. I definitely recommend it so much. I would not have quit smoking if it weren't for this book, like straight the fuck up. And it also comes with a free hypnotherapy CD, so that kind of moves me on to my next point. Is behavioral therapy, counseling, meditation, hypnosis. These are all good things that are going to help with that. Meditation, being able to sit there and sit with yourself and your emotions, however they come, however they are, and accept them as that. And that meditation really helped me. I think that I wouldn't have quit smoking without that as well. Headspace is a really good app. It does 3-minute meditations. At the very least, if that's all you're doing in a day, that's honestly probably better than trying to go for a 10-minute one and not sitting through it. So Those are all good things to look into, as well as quitting smoking programs. So here in Alberta, which is where I live, we have Alberta Quits. I will leave a link down below. And I believe that they cover up to $500 in nicotine replacement therapies. So, you know, look around, see if you have any quitting programs in your area. What's next up? Okay, tracking and cutting out unnecessary smoke. So one thing that I did while I was still a smoker is in the morning I would write down my first cigarette and then the next cigarette. And I would basically keep track of how much I was smoking for just like a day. And then I would look through that list. Because obviously as a smoker, you know that in the morning when you wake up, like you have your habitual cigarettes, let's just call them. So for me, it was in the morning when I woke up, I'd have my coffee and I'd have a smoke. And then after breakfast, I would have a smoke. And then, you know, you just have those certain times. Before bed, I would have a smoke. If I was drinking, I would have a smoke. Those like habitual ones that you kind of, as a smoker, feel like you can't live without. So like the first smoke when you wake up, you know, all that sort of shit. Basically making a list of all the times you smoke throughout the day and then cutting out all of the cigarettes that are not the necessary ones. They're not actually necessary, but you know what I mean? So like the first smoke when you wake up, you'll have that one, but maybe you won't have one that you feel like you don't need to have. So like say you will randomly have one in the afternoon and it's just like, you know, you just do it because why not? There's no reason, no rhyme to it, but you just do it. Maybe you start cutting out that cigarette or however many cigarettes it is that you feel are unnecessary. Moving on, understanding the habitual process of addiction. So as I said in one of my last videos, I've been in treatment programs quite a few times, and they always try to teach you information about drugs, alcohol, addiction, smoking, quitting smoking, all of this good stuff. And they give you all that like true, real information that a lot of people often don't know. So they basically explained to me when I was in the treatment program that it's the habitual addiction. So it's the hand to mouth. On like a lot of the time, that's what you're more addicted to than the actual nicotine. It's just having that like process, the hand to mouth. So they recommended gum, hand to mouth, eating, suckers, anything like that. And that moves on to my very next point. So I'm sure you guys have probably heard of these. It's a Juul. Mine has tape on it so that I don't lose it as easily, but it's a Juul. And I have the 5%, I like the mint ones, but there's also like tobacco flavor. So that's what I started using when I first quit smoking, because the tobacco flavor, oh, it hits when you're a smoker. It hits, it's very good. But then I slowly obviously changed to the mint. So there is in one Juul pod, the 5% Juul pods, which is what I have. There is equal to a pack of cigarettes in one pod. And so one of these packs, obviously you can see comes with like four pods, and it's in Canada about $22. So you're saving a little bit of money there. The starter kit, I think I want to say is $50. Sometimes they have little deals though. I got my starter kit for the Juul, the charger, the 4 different pods for $15 at the time. And then there's also this thing called the iQuest system, which just came out in Europe, I think. I think they're trying to bring it to a few other places. But it's basically getting the nicotine from cigarettes, but without the tar, without actually smoking. It's kind of the same thing as like vaporizing your weed. So it doesn't actually burn it. It doesn't actually like, you know, combust it, but it gets all of the THC. So it's the same thing, but with nicotine and cigarettes. So instead of burning the tobacco, it just heats it enough so that all the nicotine comes out and you get that vapor from the nicotine. So it's probably a little bit expensive right now. I know that they're kind of just like trying to market it to different places and stuff, but it is a thing out there if you aren't a big vapor or jeweler and you want to quit smoking. So the next one is exercise. So swimming for me is the best type of exercise that I personally could do to quit smoking. As it's like, I don't know, if you've ever been swimming, it's really, really hard to crave a cigarette while you're in the water or about an hour afterwards, like after you swim, because you kind of just feel like good and, you know, you just went swimming and it's like, I don't know, something about the water and like the way it reacts with your body. It's just you feeling good and you don't want to ruin it with a cigarette. Like it would just make you feel gross. So swimming is a number one exercise, at least for me, because like I said, it's impossible to crave a cigarette while you're swimming. You just want to swim in the water, be a little fishy, you know. Or other exercise, like honestly any exercise is going to help you. Then there is the classic nicotine replacement therapy. So that is our classic nicotine patches, our nicotine gum, our inhalants, etc., lozenges, whatever. That is something that's out there if it works for you. I prefer nicotine gum, but obviously whatever works for you, just, you know, try it out. Pro and con list. So I don't know if this would help you guys. Some people are more analytical thinkers. Other people are more like, you know, happy-go-lucky. I don't know. But pro and con lists, you know, writing down why you want to quit, the bad reasons about smoking. Just have a reason, you know, have a reason. And then there's also glass filters that you can put on your cigarettes. It's not completely quitting smoking, but that's what I started to do to kind of ease me off of it. You're getting a lot less tar in your lungs, kind of just, yeah, I don't know. That's what I used and it helped. So they sell those at the dollar store, most convenience stores. And then what else? I think, oh yeah. And then you basically just want to relax, because obviously smokers go back to smokes because they're trying to relax. You know, it doesn't actually work because it's a stimulant, but so you've got to find new ways to cope and new ways to relax. So maybe more bubble baths, maybe start reading, maybe get a massage. Just take care of you, boo. Have some tea, you know, maybe switch to tea instead of coffee, maybe stop drinking. Those are things that help people quit smoking, because it's hard to sit there and have a cup of coffee and like while you're just quitting smoking and like knowing that you can't have a cigarette with it. So now here's some fun facts that are about smoking. So I'm just going to read them off to you quickly. So nicotine takes about 3 days to completely leave your system. The withdrawals will completely end in about 2 weeks. So that's like cravings, withdrawal symptoms. One craving only lasts 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. So just make it through that 5 minutes. You got this. That's the same for addiction as well as like nicotine. So drugs, alcohol, whatever. A craving only ever lasts 5 minutes. I promise you. Avoiding triggers like booze, coffee, use other hobbies. One thing that I really enjoyed after quitting smoking was like going outside and like smelling the fresh air, because when you smoke, that's all you can smell is like the gross cigarette, you know? So like being able to smell the beautiful fresh air, whether it smelled like rain outside, wet earth, wet concrete, whatever it was, just being able to smell that fresh air and kind of know, you know, just fresh air is so nice. You'll smell good again. So maybe like clean your house once you quit. Everything, including you, will smell good again. So that's really great. You can just go out there and use your nice products and people will actually smell them instead of cigarette smoke. Most people try to quit several times before they succeed. So don't feel bad. I tried to quit at least like probably 5 to 10 times before I succeeded. So don't worry, it's gonna happen. But you know, it's good that you're trying. So proud of you. Lots of water. So drink lots of water, eat lots of fruits and vegetables. That will help get it all cleared out of your system, get good things back into your system. And keep in mind that when you're trying to get rid of a habit, you also have to replace it, because if you just get rid of it, you're going to fill that hole back up again, probably with that same habit. So instead of kicking a habit, you have to kick a habit and then put something in its place, something healthy, something that you're going to keep doing in your life, something that's good and that's productive. So, you know, whether that's basketball or biking or whatever you want to do, reading, making YouTube videos, like whatever it is, find something to replace that bad habit. So yeah. And then there's also, oh yeah, choose a reward. So choose a reward that you'll, you know, maybe you'll buy yourself a nice pair of shoes with the money that you save on smoking. Calculate it up, add out how much that you spend on smokes a month, and then times that by a year, and you will be amazed at how much money you're wasting, like literally to kill yourself. And also, fun fact, did you know that most smokers, by the end of their lifetime, the amount of money that they have spent on cigarettes, they could have bought a luxury car. Yeah, if you quit smoking, you could buy a Lambo. Well, maybe not quite, but you know what I mean. If you quit smoking, you're saving enough money throughout your entire lifetime to be able to buy a Lambo. So like, keep that in mind. Why are you spending so much money on something that's just like going down the drain, literally, and killing you, when you could go buy a Lambo? Like, come on. And then there's also the Smoker's Quit Guide, which I found out about very recently. I will leave the link in the description below. I think it's from Smoke Free Government. I will leave some of the sources also of where I got this information that wasn't from my own brain down below. But yeah, Smoke Free Government. I know that Canada has an unsmoke thing going now, so if you want to go and sign that petition, I will also leave that in the description down below, because that's a great petition to sign. Let's get Canada smoke free. One day we could do it. And like, I don't know, I'm really proud of you guys for just sitting and watching this video, because I don't know, it takes a lot to even be able to have the self-awareness and like want to quit. So yeah, you got this. And if I can do it, you can. Because if any of my friends know me, I used to be the biggest smoker. Like, the world would end before I quit smoking. But here I am. Now I'm a basic jeweler, but it's better than smoking. And you can do it inside. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These were just some of the tips and tricks that I have learned myself about quitting smoking and how I quit smoking. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to get notified when I upload a new video. So yeah, I love you guys so much. So proud of you for watching this video, trying to quit smoking. You got this. If you ever need any help, just hit a bitch up. I have an Instagram. It will all be linked down below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!